Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the iPhone 15 Pro, the iPhone XR, and the iPhone 8. So how did I decide that I was going to get the 15? I had a really good deal on condition that I trade in my XR. I wanted to make this video because when I was searching, when I was looking for insights whether or not to upgrade or not, I found all these tech YouTubers, which is great, and I like their insights. I just want a simple, clear answer whether it's worth it or not to upgrade. There's all this talk about chips, functions, cameras, all this other stuff, and I just need to know, is the price for what it would cost for me to upgrade worth it? Am I getting enough value to justify paying a few $100s for another phone? Whether you upgrade or not, I hope that I could have been helpful in making that decision for you. First, I'm gonna start with the iPhone 8. I can't believe it's 6 years since I got this phone. I pre-ordered this phone from Sprint. Yes, when Sprint existed, I pre-ordered this phone. I had a pretty good deal. I would get it for $15 a month. So this phone has been in use for the past 6 years. I used it for the first year and a half, and then my sibling took it over for the next 4 years. It's only just now starting to show signs of glitching and slowing down. It's a pretty solid phone. If you need something for your kid, like elementary school, but you don't want them having the full-blown, which is crazy even to say, full-blown smartphone when at the time this was considered one of the premium products, I would definitely recommend getting an iPhone 8 if you're on a budget. I think it's a solid phone. I would not go 7 or below at this point. Next up, we're gonna talk about the iPhone XR. Love this phone, but it is showing signs of age, slowing down, so I decided with the deal that I'm getting with the 15 Pro, it was time to part ways. I got this March of 2019. I actually bought this phone from GameStop for $549. So that was the year it was released, 6 months after.
Wow, I just saved myself $150.
Honestly, if I didn't have this deal, I would still be using this phone. I think if you have an 8 or an 8 Plus, 7, 6S, and you're looking at the XR, I would say go for it. If you can do 13 or above, do 13. But if you're looking from the 10 to the 12 and you're like, I don't really want to get a 12 because it's a few hundred more than the XR, I would definitely get the XR. I don't know if you can tell, but it is... Sorry, that was a really... Oh, I have to show you this. That's so cool. I knew this was a thing, but I didn't think this was a thing like with my models.
What was that?
Just an update on that, because I was ready to go to the Genius Bar mid-editing, so I just retested this, and actually the other phone started showing a little line like close to the exact same spot, so I'm not sure what that's about, but then both phones were fine after doing the share play. Let me know if this happens with yours too. So it says like my phone is connected. That's cool. I did not realize that was with the XR. So see, the XR has some upwards compatibility with the 15 Pro. With this little camera, I've been able to do so much, and you'll see what cameras I have now. You cannot go wrong. The camera, I love portrait mode. I'm trying to see if, you can't really. The pictures I've been able to make with this phone, amazing. Like, you cannot go wrong. If you're a content creator on a budget, definitely get this phone. Battery life, when I first got it, battery life was pretty good. It would take me throughout the day. If you have anything below a XR, or you're looking to have like a second phone that has some of that like newer, at least newish, like portrait mode, all that stuff, definitely get the XR. If you are able to upgrade to a 13 or above, I would stay within those families. Let me break it down. If you have like a 6S to an 8, I would upgrade to an 8 if that's like your range. If you're in the middle and you can go from the 10 to the 12, I don't see too much difference between the 11 and 12. So if you want the 11, if you want like the 11, 12, if you want the upper tier of that middle, I would get the 12. If you want the 10s, you really want to stick to the XS or 10S, 10R. 10, I would get the 10R. I honestly think it's even, well, it's probably not better than the 10S, but I honestly, it's the biggest out of all of them. What we've been waiting for, the 15. You're here, you're probably thinking, okay, like I really want to get the 15. How do I know from the phone I have whether to get the 15? First off, what I find really strange is I had to download this wallpaper. With my 10R, the wallpaper that they use for their product photo was also loaded onto the phone. Maybe that's like a weird niche thing, but I like it when I see that the wallpaper that they use in the promotional photos also is something that you can set to your phone. The camera. I mean, look at this. We're going to have some differences. First things first is the 0.5 zoom. Let's go to the wide angle lens. You're capturing a lot more around me, which is great for taking group selfies. Cinematic. I honestly don't really know too much about cinematic. I will say I'm not seeing the 24 or 48 megapixels. I'm definitely seeing the higher quality photos, especially in low light. You'll see in these photos that it's really highlighting what you want to see, like especially with vibrant colors and also keeping detail. Portrait mode, I'm not finding myself using portrait mode as much as I did with the 10R because of how well the regular photo is capturing that depth. So I no longer feel the need to use portrait mode. And panorama, I haven't used it, but honestly do not see that much of a difference. The default is HD and 30 frames per second. I record all my videos at 60 frames per second. I think, you know, especially if you're catching something that's moving super fast, I just want to make sure that I'm able to get more frames, especially if it's for content. But I recommend keeping your cameras at 60 frames per second. I did that with my 10R as well. ProRes, you get this message. ProRes, I don't really know too much about, but you need external storage for that. You cannot record ProRes just on your iPhone. I mean, if you're only buying for ProRes, chances are you already know this, but in case you're like, oh, I want to check out this ProRes feature and you're not going to be able to unless you know how to configure to save it somewhere else. You know, swiping between the screens, I do have widgets that have my location and maps, so I don't really want to show that. But swiping is pretty good. Apps opening is, you know, faster. So TikTok, as most creators you do, they use the back camera. The front camera, however, I'm not really raving over the front camera quality, although it is decent quality, but the back camera absolutely is an upgrade. This dynamic island, you know, if you're listening to music, you know, I'm able to see the song, or if I'm in phone calls, I'm able to tap that down, but I'm not finding that I have control over that, especially in phone calls. When I swipe up from a phone call and I'm trying to tap into the dynamic island, I end up having to swipe and go into the phone app to do whatever I need to. And I really was looking forward to having the dynamic island be something specifically for phone calls. I don't know if I'm just using it wrong, but for the average person, I want something to be as easy as when you swipe down for control center or notifications, and I'm just not seeing that with the dynamic island. Battery life, I'm finding that the battery life is similar to my 10R. I was promised a lot of hours and I'm just not seeing that. I'm pretty consistently under half battery, and I find myself having to charge a lot. I do have a 3.0 charger and I do see that it charges very fast, so I definitely recommend getting a 3.0 USB-C charger instead of a 2.0, and I use it with the Apple charging 20-watt block. In terms of always on, I thought I wasn't going to like it, but it's actually grown on me. It's so nice to just be able to look at my phone, not have to go towards it, not have to tap any buttons or the screen to see if I have any notifications. I'm trying to see if I can like demonstrate this. Looking away, see, it goes darker. By default, it'll say iMessage when you get a text message. It will say like notification. It won't show any details or previews. I never had those on my old phones. I just liked being able to see what was on my phone, but this does it by default. It keeps everything kind of incognito, and then once it recognizes your Face ID, then it will show the previews in the notification center. So that is actually a feature that I really like. I don't really use standby. I always keep orientation lock on my phone. The battery does pretty decent. Sometimes I leave so many apps open, especially when I'm posting to Reels and to YouTube. I'm using the phone a lot then. Another thing I wanted to talk about is USB-C. I use my USB-C laptop charger all the time. It's so nice to be able to just carry one cable and be able to charge multiple devices. Thank you to the EU. Thank you to the EU for forcing this change. And that was also a big chunk of a reason why I decided to later upgrade. I'm like, well, I don't want to buy cables and accessories for Lightning, and then I'm gonna have to eventually switch over in a few years, so I might as well get the new phone, do that switch over now. Let's just get to the verdict. Is this phone worth upgrading? If you have a 13, I honestly wouldn't upgrade. The 13 is a pretty decent phone. 14, no reason to upgrade. But I will say, if you have a really good deal, go for it. 12 and below, absolutely go for it. I definitely recommend upgrading. When I will upgrade, I will have to have a really good trade-in deal to upgrade a phone. I don't see myself upgrading next year. I think I will do just fine. I had the 10R, I got it in 2019. It's going to be 5 years. So this phone better last me at least 5 years. Let me know if you decided to upgrade or not, and let me know what color you got. I got natural titanium. It just kind of looks like a grayish beige. The sides, you know, they're kind of, usually I have it in my case, but there's not really much like there's not really fingerprints, but you know, there is smudges from me touching the phone. Thank you for watching. I hope you really liked this video, and I hope I helped you with your consumer journey with the iPhone. Let me know what you think, comment below, and subscribe for more streams and tech content.